How's it going, guys? I'm Jeremy, and here's a trip I did up to Mt Elbert, which is the second highest mountain in the continental U.S. So it was a pretty cool trip. I'll show you some of the video, and then I'll do the commentary afterwards. So actually, I was kind of on and off whether I was going to do the hike. I had been camping near Leadville, and I didn't even realize I was that close. And so at first, I kind of wanted to do it, and I was kind of psyched about the idea. You know, the second highest mountain in the continental U.S., and it's the highest in Colorado, and not really that difficult. You know, I mean, of course, a long climb, but like nothing super technical. You know, and so I figured I'd give it a shot. But then, you know, I'd read there was quite a bit of snow, and people were saying it's almost up to their knees. And I was thinking, I was like, oh, I don't know about this. You know, I didn't want to like be going up through all this snow and stuff like that. And I have my micro spikes, but not snowshoes. So when I woke up in the morning, I actually was like, nah, I think I'll skip this and do something else. And it was just so nice, blue skies, perfect. And I could see it in the distance, you know, not far from where I was camping. And there was a lot of snow up there, and I was like, shit, I don't know if I should try it. Because if I'm going to do it, like, you know, I'm going to obviously give it my best. And so I probably would wade through quite a bit of snow if I had to. But at the same time, I figured, I was like, you know what, there's got to be a few people still doing it every day, because this was, I don't know, like October 5th or something like that. So it's still not like the season's over for a lot of these kinds of hikes. There's still people going up. So, you know, I parked the car, and then I started to head up to the trail, which was a forest, which, you know, most of these trails start in a forest, and then you get to above tree line. Except for Beardstadt, you kind of start in a field, and you don't really start in the woods for that one because you're at the top of a pass. But anyway, I started passing a few people, and I could tell, you know, maybe some people weren't either prepared or whatever, because, you know, I'd ask a couple people, I was like, oh, how was it? You know, they're like, oh, we didn't finish. So it was a little discouraging, but it was because they said, you know, it was a little bit snowy and icy. And I was like, you could see that mountain from like New York City, that there's like a huge amount of snow on top. So I thought that, like, you know, I mean, you could definitely see it before you go up, so I'm surprised they would have gone up. But maybe just like, like anything else, people want to give it a shot, right? And so, yeah, I just kept going along, and I actually see the guy from New York. He didn't look prepared. He said he didn't have the microspikes or anything, so I knew he probably wasn't going to make it. But maybe half the people did that day. I think there was about 20 altogether, and maybe about half the people did. And you get up finally above tree line, which takes a while, because some of those other 14ers I did were maybe like a 3,000-foot climb, and this is about 4,500, so that's an extra 1,500 feet. So you're through those woods for a while, going up pretty steep. There was one section where it kind of mellows out a bit near, I think it was the Continental Divide Trail, and then you keep going through the woods for quite a long while before you even get to above tree line. And then, yeah, you've still got quite a ways to go. And there's kind of like a false summit. I luckily read about it. So, and this can happen anytime you're hiking anywhere in the mountains. A lot of the time, your vision can see to here. You know what I mean? So once you get up here, you can't see that there was another mountain actually past that, because your sight is here and you can't see beyond, that first hill or mountain or whatever. And so, yeah, you get up to there, and there was already quite a bit of snow. And I made sure I put on my micro spikes for the first time on any of the 14ers I did. And so, that obviously makes it much more stable and stuff like that. And, yeah, you keep going up. And I must have been like one of the last people that day, basically, because there was pretty much no one behind me. And actually, when I came down, I did see 3 guys from Vermont that were going up just before sunset, and they weren't above the tree line, so I hope they were okay. I'm sure they made it up a little way and went down. And then anyway, I got to the top, and some nice views there. I don't know if I would say it's as nice as Quandary, but still quite beautiful. You could see all around to like where Leadville is, and like 2 or 3 of the Alpine lakes in the one direction. I guess to the east, and then to the west there's some other mountains. I think the next biggest one next door is Mount Massive. And I was flying my drone, as you can see in this video. I did the like kind of the helicopter halo one is what the setting is on the Mavic Mini drone, and that went okay. And then I was just kind of do a couple flybys, and I just did it, a couple days before in Quandary, which was just as cold and almost as high. Maybe this is obviously a few hundred feet higher, and I've had this happen a few times, and it's probably because of cold weather, and I probably should have kept the battery in my pocket because it's probably cold in the bag. And I'm guessing between either the elevation and the cold, it just was like dropping. And it was on high speed mode, like sports mode, which is like the strongest setting, because that's what you use like if there's high winds and stuff like that. And yeah, it just dropped. I was like, fuck. And I was like, I held it up, and I was actually moving it towards me because I was like, I knew it was going to crash, but I was at least, if it wasn't too far from me, I would be able to go a little bit down. But you might not be able to see from all the angles there. It might not look too steep, but like, yeah, I mean, I couldn't go more than, 5 feet to that edge. I mean, with equipment or a rope, I might have been able to go down, but it's definitely not worth my life because it's way too steep. So yeah, that met its grave on the side of Elbert. And I was debating whether I get another one, but yeah, this has happened a few times. Luckily the other times I was able to fix it, and the more expensive drone, like this is $500. The bigger DJI drones don't have too many issues with that, but those are like $700-800. They said they could do a replacement of this same one for like maybe $275, or I could get the DJI Mavic Mini 2. Which, they charge me a little extra. That would almost be $500 anyway. So might have to say goodbye to the drone for a little while, but that's all right. So, but anyway, I think, yeah, if you want to hike the second highest mountain in America, Elbert's not too difficult. The hike I did, by the way, was the one, if you go, it's basically the northeast of the peak, which is, if you're coming from Leadville, that would be southwest. And I could put out the name or the area on the screen for you, or in the description below. With that, yeah, you might even want to stay like one night in Leadville or somewhere around there where you're a little higher, even higher than Denver, and then do that hike. So Mt Elbert's not too far from Denver, probably, an hour, 45 minutes, and that's like 25 minutes or a half hour from Leadville to the trailhead. Some decent camping around there too, but I'm sure that's pretty full in summer. And yeah, pretty epic a day. Obviously sad because it drove a little bit, but it was still cool. It's still worth it. It's, I think it must have taken 4 up, or maybe 5, but almost even 4 down because my feet were so sore because these boots I had from China weren't, I'm a size 12, they only have like size 10 or 11, so it's about 1 size too small, so my feet were really feeling it. But yeah, slow and steady, if you get there, I don't think I started till about 10:30, but if you start at 8 o'clock, you've got all day to do it. Obviously, if you're gonna do that in the summer, you gotta even start earlier because you get those snowstorms and stuff at 2 or 3 o'clock and lightning, so you definitely got to do it early. Since I was already doing it in October, there's not as many storms, or if there's a storm, it's probably going to be snow. So anyway, I hope that was helpful for you. If you ever want to join me for a trip, I lead trips up hiking around in general and bike trips in Colorado. And I can take some people up to these 14,000 peaks if you'd like, to give you a little motivation, get some nice pics, and I could drive you back to Denver because you'll be damn exhausted at the end of the day. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more content. My channel has a lot of different stuff from my travels around the world, whether hiking or biking, and some of the things over the years I've done, whether I was in the military, commercial fishing in Alaska, or my experience living in China and Taiwan for 15 years, and I was a teacher there and led tours and did all kinds of stuff. So if that stuff's beneficial for you or entertaining, subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers.